What's going on, everybody? It's your man, Diamond K. Of course, the Diamond K Show on firebroadcasting.com, thediamondkshow.com. Happy Monday and all of that good stuff. Over the weekend, had a chance to attend the Flywire White Tie affair. Took place at Lexington Market. I got to say the beautiful Lexington Market because they've redone the whole thing. For those that don't know, Lexington Market completely redone, and it has an outdoor plaza. So the Flywire White Party was in the outdoor plaza and also inside. So Flywire celebrated 20 years of the White Tie affair and the debut of the Flywire magazine. So music by DJ Kibi, DJ Tons, my brother Super DJ Big L, Mr. Incredible, Justin the bearded drummer, and more. There were a lot of folks in there I hadn't seen in many years, so it was almost like a reunion kind of thing. And of course, TFP, in the building and all of that. So it was all good, right? And so, on Fire Broadcasting, we often honor and recognize those in media and entertainment. And so we had something planned where I was going to present an award to someone at the event. Now, I had known, long in advance that we were going to do this, but I did not want the recipient to know. Right. I wanted them to be surprised. And so Marcy, I told Marcy that we were going to do a presentation for one of the DJs. And, so she was like, it's all good as long as you don't mess up the time, the party time. So don't make sure that you don't try to do it too late. Right. And a lot of things happened. I ended up arriving later than I wanted to the party, right? And so it takes me like an hour to try to find Marcy. So there's thousands of people here, and I'm trying to find Marcy so we can get the queue together so I can go to give away this award. And by the time I saw her, it was deep into peak time. Right. I knew she wasn't going to let me get on the stage at this point in time is what I'm thinking. So I bump into Marcy, and I said, I've been looking for you. So she said, did you just get here? I said, no, I've been here for an hour. I've been trying to find you. And, and here I am. So I have the award. And so she says, well, who's the award for? So I said, okay, fine. I didn't tell you who it was for. So I open up the award, take it out the box, take it out the wrapper. And it was for Marcy, right? And so she was surprised. And so it was really good. We got some great photos and video of it. And, it was a really great thing. But Marcy has been in the game for a long time. She is the powerhouse behind the Flywire and the Flywire.com, the events that they put on. And really, Baltimore's #1 urban entertainment network started in 2002 with just a 30 subscriber email list. And it has grown into a full-fledged social media and marketing and promotion empire. Of course, best known in these parts for the legendary White Tie affair. Like I said, it draws thousands annually. But Marcy is a proud Virginia Union University alum, where she has a degree in journalism. She also served as a media and marketing director for Baltimore City Recreations and Parks and a PR specialist for Baltimore City Public Schools. So she went from inbox to empire. She is the definition, Marcy, that is the definition of vision, consistency, and culture. She is a boss. She is a media mogul. She is a legend. And just wanted to just recognize her and all that she does. So she has come a long way, a true mogul and a community leader and a friend. So it's always good when you can give someone their flowers, and when they're a friend, it's even better. So definitely shout out to Marcy Evans Crump, the visionary CEO and editor-in-chief of the Flywire.com. And she's been doing her thing for a long time. Wealth of experience in public relations and marketing. And we were able to surprise her yesterday. So that was really, really good. The award, it's a very nice award. Let me say it's got her picture on there. And so she has the picture on there, and then it has these words, and it says that it was presented to Marcy Evans Crump in appreciation for your visionary leadership, dedication to excellence, and unwavering impact on Baltimore's media and entertainment community. She has influenced so many folks, the next generation behind her. She has been able to really lay down what I like to think of as the blueprint. She's laid down the blueprint. She's obviously not the first promoter in history, but she's laid down the blueprint of how to put on some classy events, some upscale events. I saw folks out yesterday at the White Party that I don't normally see out there. So Marcy's dedication, innovation, and impact have shaped the city's cultural landscape and inspired a generation of creatives. That's more stuff from the award. So definitely, like I said, shout out to Marcy and the good folks over at Flywire. So that's what I did over the weekend. Another thing over the weekend. It was the 7-year anniversary of the passing of my sister, Shawyn. So that was, it has gotten easier to bear her loss over the years. So this is year number 7. And I would say last year was probably the first time that I could even talk about it. I haven't really talked about it on my show many times, but last year was the first time I could talk about it without becoming emotional. So that's why I really didn't do it previously. But July 19th is the day, the anniversary of her passing. And so it's always weird this time of year because my birthday is August the 10th and her birthday was August the 17th. And then she passed away the 19th of July. And then, you know what I mean? It's always weird this time of year because of that. But this year, first time that I was totally, well, I ain't gonna say totally fine, but this was the best. I don't even want to say best. This was the easiest year thus far. The first couple years, as you can imagine, were like super difficult. But like anything, over time, you can grow to get through it a little bit. But since we are here in bad news, just a sad revelation, the passing of a legend. I want to say he's a legend, definitely. So we're talking about Malcolm Jamal Warner, who tragically passed away this week. 54 years old. If you came up in the 80s or the 90s, you know exactly who Theo Huxtable was. The youngest. I'm not going to say he was the first. Maybe it was the first. I'm saying that maybe it was the first. So he was the first person I can think of that I saw on TV that I could totally relate to, right? Because we're in the same generation, and seeing him on TV and some of the things that he went through as a member of the Cosby Show, Theo Huxtable, I really could relate to that character. He was smart, funny, a little rebellious, but like I said, just relatable. And Malcolm Jamal Warner brought that character to life in a way that made many of us feel that he was part of our own family. He wasn't just an actor. He was also a director, a musician, a poet, storyteller in every sense. He played long-running roles on shows like Read Between the Lines, The Resident, 911. He had a role on there in recent years, of course, on The Cosby Show. But no matter what role he was in, he always carried himself with a sense of purpose, a sense of power. And according to reports, sadly, Malcolm died while vacationing in Costa Rica with his family. He was caught in a strong current and sadly drowned. The official cause of death has been listed as asphyxia, due to the drowning. So just let that sink in. This man who gave us so many stories, so many memories, is gone just like that. Very sad. It hit many folks hard because he represented more than just a TV role. He represented black excellence, and you hear that thrown around all the time. But he represented black excellence. He showed you that you could be thoughtful, expressive, and creative and still hold down your culture with pride. I remember watching The Cosby Show and reruns of it and just seeing Theo go through his everyday struggles, school, money, relationships, and realizing that he wasn't perfect, but he was real. And that authenticity stuck with many of us. He was a young black man on TV who looked like us and sounded like us, and that mattered. Malcolm Jamal Warner also spoke out about black issues, embraced poetry and jazz, and poured into the next generation of artists. He didn't chase fame. He lived his truth. And now we say goodbye to a brother, an icon, and a quiet revolutionary. Rest in peace, King. Your legacy lives on. You want to share your thoughts or memories of Malcolm Jamal Warner? Hit me up on social media at The Diamond K Show. Let's honor his life with love and respect. And, of course, you're listening right now to The Diamond K Show. Check in on your people. You know what I mean? People you haven't talked to in a while. You don't know. We don't know when this ride is over. We don't know when our date to leave this world is. Hold your folks close. And like I said, even if they are someone who people look at as being strong, you've got to check on folks. You know what I'm saying? Got to check on them. And yeah, so this one hit hard. This definitely was a loss. And yeah, so we don't know the date. We don't know the date when we are leaving. Now, got to shift gears for a minute. Speaking of leaving, wishing someone was leaving, Donald Trump has been flailing lately. Of course, the Epstein files that he campaigned on, they were going to expose the Democrats, and now this has turned into a full-fledged issue for the president. There are so many images and there's video of him with Jeffrey Epstein. But of course, he's trying to act like, oh, I don't know. Who? Jeffrey who? I barely know him, right? Here's the thing. Here's the difference between Democrats and Republicans. The difference between MAGA and sane people, right? If there are Democrats that are in the Epstein crimes, they got to go to jail, right? I have no problem with that. Whether we're talking about former presidents or whoever, Democrats on there, they need to go to jail, right? But that's the difference between MAGA and Democrats. MAGA, if there's things of Trump on the Epstein list, the client list, the doing wrong, right? then MAGA's going to say, oh, no, that's some kind of conspiracy. He didn't do anything wrong, right? That's the difference, right? If there are Democrats that are on this list, I have no problem with them being punished to the fullest extent of the law. If there are Republicans on the list, it doesn't matter. These crimes are horrible. And we're talking about the exploitation of young women at the time, young girls at the time. And many rich people have been allowed to get away with this for such a long time. The MAGA right was so, Pizzagate, and they're pedophiles, they're doing all these things, right? And so with that, it's all good as long as they think that it's Democrats. But when they find out that some Republicans, some right-leaning folks, not only Donald Trump, I'm sure that there are other people that were on this island. And here's the thing. There are thousands and thousands and thousands of files. There are gigs, hundreds of gigs of images, video, all kind of stuff. And it appears that this administration wants to suppress that. That is an issue. That is a problem. And hopefully the MAGA folks are going to put pressure for these things to be released. And some folks are saying that Trump's trying to say it's a hoax. Is it really? Ghislaine Maxwell in jail, convicted on crimes. The young girls who were harmed, who were exploited, that was real stuff. And Donald Trump is now trying to act like these things did not happen, or it's some type of a hoax, or something that he can sweep under the rug. And he's trying to throw all these distractions out there to try to get folks' minds off of what he has been doing, right? Doesn't want to bring things to the light of day. And so there were a lot of campaign promises made, a lot of things. They said they were going to unseal the JFK files, the Epstein files, and the MLK files. So Martin Luther King Jr. files, the MLK files, they have released 230,000 pages. That's a lot of stuff. Now, the Trump administration dropped these previously classified documents, these previously classified government files related to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Yes, the late, great Dr. King. This includes FBI memos, CIA surveillance, Department of Justice records, and even foreign intelligence links to events surrounding his assassination in 1968. So where is this coming from? All of a sudden, right? All of a sudden, he's trying to do anything, Donald Trump that is, to try to change the conversation, to get things off of the real connection that he has with Epstein. It's obvious that they knew each other. And we've seen all kind of things that Melania and Trump met at an Epstein party. It's been alleged and all kind of stuff, right? But I'm going to give you some context on these MLK files. These files were originally sealed in 1977 under a court order and weren't supposed to be made public until 2027. Long time, right? But thanks to this recent executive order signed by Trump in January, they've been released 2 years early. So what exactly is in these documents? There's a lot. We have not had a chance to go through everything just being released. And like I said, close to 240,000 documents. But we did want to talk about the fact that it has been released. And from what we know so far, there's detailed info on the FBI surveillance campaign against King. Now, remember, this is the same FBI that was actively trying to discredit him in the 60s. So a lot of this is going to be information that is probably damaging to his legacy. There are also memos discussing threats, travel, and witness accounts from people like James Earl Ray's cellmate. And James Earl Ray is the man convicted of King's murder. Now, before folks jump to conclusions and go conspiracy crazy, let's be clear. The King family was given advance access to review these documents. They've had attorneys look over these things. They've asked the public, and I quote, to approach this moment with empathy, restraint, and respect. So that means that we're probably going to see some things in these MLK files that could be damaging to him personally. But let's be honest. These aren't just files. These are intimate pieces of history tied to a man who changed the world and paid for it with his life. But let me tell you why this is so important. For years, people, scholars, activists, even everyday citizens have demanded more transparency about what happened in the lead up to Dr. King's death. Who was watching him and why? And how deep did the government's efforts to monitor and manipulate the civil rights movement actually go? Well, we might finally start getting some of those answers. We'll be digging through the documents here at the Diamond K Show, and I promise you, we will keep you updated as the findings roll in. But I want to know what you think. Does this change your view of how the government treated black leaders like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.? And do you think that this release is a step toward justice, or is this just political theater? And is this just another one of Donald Trump's diversion, distraction tactics? Definitely drop your thoughts in the comments. Hit me up on social media at The Diamond K Show. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the follow-ups. We'll be covering this. And I definitely want folks to pay attention because it is a lot going on. Trump is trying to get folks to pay attention to something other than him. He doesn't want people talking about Epstein and all of the hoopla around that. All right, he doesn't want folks talking about that. Now, releasing this stuff, I think that it is probably some things in here that we want to see. But at the same time, this is not going to stop folks from talking about the issue at hand, the Jeffrey Epstein issue. It is not going to stop it at all. Trump thinks that it will. And he was on a roll over the weekend. He was on a roll, Donald Trump, that is. So in addition to these MLK files that were dropped today, there was something else. And so he's going to try to do Trump. He's going to try to do controversial things to try to get your attention. Going to try to. Now, something that sparked some controversy over the weekend, formerly they were the Washington Redskins, but now they are called the Washington Commanders. And Trump wanted to get them to change their name back to the Redskins. In 2025, we are still having this conversation. Now, in a post on his social network, Trump demanded that the team immediately return to the old name, claiming, get this, that Native Americans actually want the racial slur name back. He also took a swipe at baseball's Cleveland Guardians, saying that they should return to being the quote unquote Indians. Now, let's keep it real. Both these names were changed after years and years of criticism, protests, corporate pressure due to the racially insensitive and offensive nature, especially the term Redskins, which has been condemned as a slur by Native American groups for decades. So for those that know, I went to Edmondson High School, and our team was called the Redskins. And so, growing up, of course, we had the Washington Redskins and the Edmondson Redskins. But I did not know how offensive this term was. And I didn't know, but I should have known, right? I didn't name the team, obviously. And before the Washington Redskins changed their name, my high school changed the name of our team to the Red Storm. So they're called the Red Storm now. But it has been many years, and I thought we were on the other side of these offensive names. Trump's insistence about heritage and respect. I just can't believe that this guy has the nerve to even say the word respect out of his mouth, considering the Neanderthal that he portrays. Heritage for who? And who exactly is being respected when marginalized communities have clearly voiced that these names are harmful? Let's not forget the Commanders were once the Washington football team. After the name was officially dropped in 2020 during the wave of social movements, the franchise has since rebranded, and ownership says they have no plans to bring the old name back. What is Trump's play here? Is this another way to fire up his base with a little culture war fuel? Or is he trying to rewrite history one football jersey at a time? Or is he just trying to distract folks from the Jeffrey Epstein list? And understand this, there is clearly a list. There's a list of folks who were attending the parties. There's a list of people that were on the plane. We've seen some flight logs. There's a list of folks who were intimate with some of these young girls. And the FBI, the government, has cataloged these items. There is a list. Right? There is a list. But I want to hear from you. Is this really about honoring tradition, or just clinging to outdated, offensive symbols for political points? Hit me up in the comments, share this episode, and let me know what side of the fence you are on. You're listening to the Diamond K Show. Of course, you can catch us weekdays, 6 p.m. at onfirebroadcasting.com. Anywhere you get your podcasts, youtube.com/DJ Diamond K. Of course, you can follow us across all socials at On Fire Broadcasting, at the Diamond K Show. So you have that. And, this spiral that Donald Trump is doing is it's interesting to watch because he is flailing. He is under pressure. And, on some instances, some things are falling apart for him. So speaking of falling apart, you have a supporter of his. Many people know, famous guy. But he's having some issues of his own. And this Dr. Phil, right? That's what we're talking about. Dr. Phil. Now, I don't know if you watched that show, but the media meltdown of Dr. Phil is where I wanted to go right now. And we're talking about that Dr. Phil, the guy who gave out life advice on daytime TV for 20 years. He has seen his MAGA-inspired media empire go belly up. And I want to dive into that next. So here's the rundown. Dr. Phil walked away from his long-running talk show in 2023. And he said that he was tired of the, quote, woke nonsense in mainstream media. He wanted to restore what he called, quote, common sense in the media world. So that's when he launched Merit Street Media, a Texas-based conservative-leaning TV network that promised to be the anti-CNN, anti-MSNBC, basically Fox News with more cowboy hats. But here's the problem. The problem is no one watched. No one cared. Ratings were terrible. Layoffs happened. Tech issues happened. And then boom, bankruptcy. The fall of Merritt Street. They have filed for bankruptcy on July 2nd, 2025. Merritt Street Media officially filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Dr. Phil's company claimed it had between $100 million and $500 million in liabilities and assets. And this clown was giving advice to folks on TV. They're blaming a lot of the mess on their distributor, TBN, which they are now suing. Let me say this again. Dr. Phil's anti-woke network was supposed to be a safe space for the MAGA crowd. But after just 1 year on the air, the whole thing collapsed like a house of Trump branded cars falling into the dirt. So what's next for Dr. Phil? Now, you might think this would be the end, but no. Just 2 weeks after that bankruptcy filing, Dr. Phil announced he's launching Envoy Media Company, another right-wing flavored media experiment, this time focused on citizen journalism. He's even saying he's teaming up with Steve Harvey. Listen, I don't know about you, but this smells like a rebrand and a relaunch with the same old playbook. The question is, who's really asking for Dr. Phil to become the next Glenn Beck? Nobody. So let's talk about bigger picture. What this really shows is the danger of trying to cash in on culture wars without a audience audience. And you can scream woke, woke, woke all you want, but if people don't watch, you're just screaming into a void. I often tell folks the opposite of woke is sleep. And it is better to be woke and paying attention to things than sleep at the wheel. Because if you sleep at the wheel, you're like Dr. Phil and you're crashing your company into the ground. $500 million in debt. Yeah, you should have stayed woke, Dr. Phil, or woken up because you have been in a MAGA slumber. And that is why your company fails. So Dr. Phil, if you remember, went from Oprah's protege to right-wing rebel. And now his so-called media revolution, it has officially flatlined. But hey, the grift never stops in MAGA land, does it? Okay. So if you're not already following us, hit that subscribe button, share this podcast, keep up with us on social media at The Diamond K Show, at On Fire Broadcasting. We have really seen a lot of traction on our Instagram at The Diamond K Show. A lot of stories that before they become topics on the show, I mention it and share it on our Instagram and our TikTok as well, also at The Diamond K Show. So student loan forgiveness has been suspended. Linda McMahon, yes, Vince McMahon, WWE, Linda McMahon, that one. Yes, she just did it. She just did it. Now, we got to talk about this. This is something that's got millions of student loan borrowers feeling tight. The borrowers are rightfully not feeling this. Education Secretary Linda McMahon, the Linda McMahon, the former WWE exec turned Trump insider, just made a move that could crush financial plans across the country. She has suspended student loan forgiveness under the income-based repayment plan, the IBR. Now, if you've been making payments under the IBR, thinking that after 20 or 25 years, the balance would finally be wiped out, you might want to sit down for this. The Department of Education is now saying, nope, forgiveness under that plan is on hold indefinitely, and they're not sugarcoating it. The McMahon-led DOE, Department of Education, claims the Biden-era push for widespread forgiveness was an abuse of power. Can you imagine the gall of these people? And not authorized by law. Folks, I often tell you, elections have consequences. And when you put the wrong folks in office, people say, it doesn't matter. My life is not different no matter who's in office. They're trying to change things. Now, check this out. This isn't just about policy. It's about people. People who made career decisions, housing decisions, even family decisions based on the idea that if they followed the rules, their loans would eventually be forgiven. Now, all of a sudden, that promise is being walked back. So the question becomes, is this about fiscal responsibility? Right? They had the Doge, right? Elon Musk and those folks. They were talking about, there's so much fraud. There's fraud everywhere, right? Fraud is a crime. No one was charged because there was no fraud. They were full of it. Now we're back with more grifting and more lies. This is not about fiscal responsibility. It, to me, sounds like political revenge against anything that has the word forgiveness in it. Let's not forget, under the IBR plan, forgiveness was not free money. The borrowers had to pay consistently for decades. This was never a handout. It was a long game strategy for working class Americans. And now that game's changed mid-play. Here's where I stand. If you enter into an agreement with the government and do everything they ask, they shouldn't be allowed to just flip the script when it suits them politically. But that's what's happening. We have bailed out banks. Banks. We have forgiven PPP loans. But when it comes to regular folks just trying to stay afloat, suddenly it's too expensive. Did I mention that they bailed out banks, the car industry? Way more money than this. Make it make sense. I want to hear from you. Are you personally affected by this decision? Do you agree with it or feel betrayed? Hit me up at The Diamond K Show, of course, on all platforms, or just email me at djdiamondk@gmail.com. And listen, if you've got questions about what to do next, I'll be talking with a financial advisor in the coming weeks to break it all down. Until then, I want you to stay smart, stay informed, and most of all, stay on fire. Of course, you've been listening to The Diamond K Show, powered by On Fire Broadcasting, politics, news, culture, and real talk for the people. You can catch us daily and subscribe wherever you get your podcast. So we've been talking about all kind of stuff, and a bombshell claim just dropped from none other than Hunter Biden. Yes, that Hunter Biden. Hunter says that President Joe Biden, his father, was given an Ambien the night before his now infamous 2024 debate performance, that terrible performance against Donald Trump. And this debate, many viewed as the beginning of the end for Biden's campaign. I don't know if it was the beginning of the end. It might have been the end of the end, because it had been in trouble for him, a lot of trouble for him for a long time. Now, this revelation has everybody talking. Was it the medication? Was it jet lag, or something deeper about his age, leadership, and transparency? So what exactly is Hunter trying to say? In a new interview that was released today, Hunter Biden made a stunning admission claiming his father was given quote, an Ambien before the June 27th, 2024 debate. For those unfamiliar, an Ambien is a sleep aid. It is powerful and can leave you feeling foggy, especially if you are older or if you take it too close to go time. So Hunter Biden says that the combination of travel from D-Day commemorations in France to the G7 in Italy, plus that medication made his father look, quote, like a deer in headlights. Now, if you remember, that debate was a turning point. Biden stumbled over words, froze at times, and had moments that even loyal Democrats cringe at. It was after that debate that many high-profile public figures, including George Clooney, began urging Joe Biden to step aside. And eventually, Biden did, dropping out of the race almost exactly. It was difficult to watch. Now, was it the Ambien or something more chronic? I don't know. Now, here's where things get a little interesting. The official White House physician, the report from earlier that year did not list Ambien as one of Biden's prescriptions. And when Congress asked Dr. Kevin O'Connor, Biden's doctor, if Ambien was ever used, he refused to answer. So are we looking at a case of mismanagement, a cover-up, or is Hunter Biden simply speaking off the cuff and adding more fire to an already burning legacy? Let's be honest. When we talk about leadership and age, I think that there should be age requirements on everything related to the government, right? President, there should be some age requirements. There should be some things, just like for kids to purchase cigarettes or to get the driver's license, there are age requirements. And if we are talking about politics, these folks need to be on their A game. We got to be honest. We've all seen the conversations about ages in politics. And I don't want to hear anything about being ageist, right? You take the license from folks at a certain age when they demonstrate that they are not able to still be behind the wheel. Donald Trump is 78 years old. Joe Biden is 81. Donald Trump's now 79. The two oldest, candidates and presidents, like they old, should not be in these positions. But if what Hunter Biden is saying is true, if he's saying that the leader of the free world took a sedative before a live showdown with his rival, that's more than age. That's almost planning a failure. That's a crisis in judgment. Who gave him the Ambien? Did Hunter Biden give it to him? Who knows? I don't know. I want to hear from you. Do you believe Hunter Biden? Should a sitting president ever take an Ambien before a public appearance of that magnitude? And what does this say about how these campaigns are run behind the scenes? All of these so-called smart people doing dumb things. Dumb things. Sound off in the comments. Hit that subscribe button. And as always, stay locked into the Diamond K Show, where we break it down straight, no chaser. My name is Diamond K. Of course, I want you to stay smart, stay woke, and of course, stay on fire. So much going on in the world. We have we have an administration that is flailing right now. We have an administration that is flailing. Donald Trump is doing all kind of things to try to stay ahead of the Epstein files being released. So we need to continue to make some. MAGA's got to put pressure on him. MAGA has got to put pressure on him. It is getting bad out here. So Stephen Colbert has been notified as of Wednesday of last week that his show is going to end in May of next year. So his show is supposed to end in May of next year, and it is a combination of things. It is not making economic sense. According to reports, they're losing $40 million a year on that show. He makes about $15 million a year. And I think that a couple of things are at play. They've been wanting to cut the cord on this expensive show. Now, if the show is doing so bad, why wouldn't they stop it immediately? There's over 200 people, or almost 200 people, that work on the Stephen Colbert show. So last week, he said some things about the bribe that Paramount head is taking. They're trying to do some kind of a merger, right? And we've talked about this. They're trying to do this merger, and Trump has been putting pressure on them, threatening lawsuits. They're paying him money, and he said something about this bribe. And the Redstone, who's the CEO of Paramount, right after that, Colbert says this bribe that they're giving to Trump, then he gets notice that he's going to be canceled, right? And so I think that there are a lot of things at play. They wanted to cancel his show. Donald Trump doesn't like the show. He says something about the parent company, which is Paramount, giving Donald Trump a bribe, and then his show gets canceled. But they've been wanting to cancel the show. So they just use this as the reason to cancel the show. And they're trying to, the timing makes it seem like Trump is the reason. He's one of the reasons. He's one of the reasons for timing that it happened right then. But if they were so worried about the money, they would just stop it immediately. Stop the bleeding, right? If that is what they were really worried about. But I am hoping, I said this over the weekend, I am hoping that Colbert runs for Lindsey Graham's seat next year. That would be interesting. I mean, he's going to be losing the show anyway. So why not make it interesting? Do something that would help the people. I think that would be a great idea. So he should run for Senate. I've said it, and a lot of folks seem to agree. And hopefully that happens. I would love to see Lindsey Graham get what he has coming to him, and that is a good race. But the Stephen Colbert show canceled after slamming Paramount and Trump. The Writers Guild, which is basically calling for an investigation into the late show's sudden cancellation just days after Stephen Colbert blasted Paramount on this $16 million settlement with Trump that is a bribe. So some people are saying this is political retaliation. Some people are saying this is just business, right? Thought we have freedom of speech. Democrats, comedians, and press advocates are sounding the alarm. Colbert's team may be lawyering up. I don't know. So we're going to continue to follow that. Because at the end of the day, he should be able to say what he wants. He should be. You would think that he could say whatever he wanted to, but no, that's not what's happening. So you have things coming from all ways, and we got to pay attention to this stuff because it is a lot of it out there. A lot of things out there. Another thing that was sad to see because the USDA, it has ended targeted aid for black farmers. The U.S. Department of Agriculture says that it has done all it should do to support black farmers, officially ending programs that prioritized race and gender in lending and assistance. So this move eliminates the socially disadvantaged classification that once helped correct decades of discrimination against Black, Hispanic, and Native American and Asian farmers. So critics say this is a major step backwards in the fight for agricultural equality. So some folks are saying, hey, it should be the best farmers should get it, right? AKA the white farmers. So what had been happening is that farmers of color, Black farmers, Hispanic farmers, Native American farmers, Asian farmers were not getting their fair share. They were just going to the good old boy network, and somebody like Donald Trump and folks that are not in favor of the DEI initiatives want things to just go to the good old boys. All right. So that's what we're fighting. For many, the fight is not over. It is just entering a new phase. What do you think? Is this about fairness or erasing accountability? I think the latter. Now, follow me at the Diamond K Show for more truth. They do not want you to hear. Of course, visit onfirebroadcasting.com. Subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcast. So these are just some of the many topics that we have been following, and super frustrating. So whether we're talking about Trump trying to hide the Epstein documents, another weird thing that the Trump administration has done is they have, this is supposed to be the accountability and waste and fraud. They're supposed to be against fraud, but they do things that are fraudulent and wasteful. So the Trump administration plans to destroy $10 million worth of contraceptives. Let me say that again. $10 million worth of contraceptives. I'm talking about IUDs and implants that were bought with U.S. tax dollars by USAID. Now, the intent or the intended crisis zones across the world, places like Africa, refugee camps, war-torn areas where access to family planning literally saves lives, instead of donating them, even through other aid organizations, they've been begging to take them. They're going to incinerate them, burn them, trash them. These are medical supplies that are still good until 2027. So instead of sending them to some people that could use them, right now they're sitting in warehouses overseas. And the reason, they say rebranding and redistributing would be too expensive. And of course, there are political restrictions when it comes to anything that even remotely is related to reproductive health or abortion counseling. Let me say this clearly. This is not just wasteful. It is dangerous. Blocking access to birth control in vulnerable communities doesn't promote life. It increases poverty, maternal deaths, and unsafe abortions. It brings those on and makes them, folks want to do that. So it is cruel and it is calculated. But let me break this down a little bit more. Aid organizations like MSI Reproductive Choices tried to step in and buy these contraceptives to take them off the U.S. government's hands. They were even willing to remove the branding, but the government wanted them to pay full price and jump through a whole lot of red tape, and time is running out. By the end of July, unless Congress acts, which it won't, millions of dollars in birth control are going to literally go up in flames. Let me ask y'all, how is this pro-life? How is this conservative fiscal responsibility? It's ideological warfare with women's lives caught in the middle. Now, look, I want to hear from you. Do you support this move? Do you think this is about values, or is it just straight up political theater? Hit me up in the comments, or of course at the Diamond K Show on all platforms. Of course, at On Fire Broadcasting. Email me, djdiamondk@gmail.com. Before we get out of here, don't forget, you can stream the Diamond K Show weekdays, 6 p.m. at onfirebroadcasting.com. We're also on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Tell a friend and keep it locked right here. My name is Diamond K. Of course, I want you to stay informed. I want you to stay woke. And most of all, I want you to stay on fire. Now, a lot of topics. And of course, tomorrow's show, we're going to dive in to more things. But you have something that you need to send me, tips, suggestions, business, djdiamondk@gmail.com. I check all my email.